Page 18, Gypsy Earrings. This is a solo that you can learn if you choose to, or if you're assigned to, whatever, I don't know. They have some things up there at the top about before playing and while playing, all that junk. I have a particular process I go through when I learn a piece of music, and that usually covers all that junk. So I'm just going to go through my process, and you can do that stuff at the top if you want to. Have fun with that. I'm still going to go through the process I use when I work on a new piece of music. First thing I do is I kind of look it over. What am I getting into? I see it's 2 pages long. Okay. The clef signs are treble and bass. I always check them because they're not always treble and bass. They can change in the middle of the piece. I don't care. It's just at the beginning is what I'm after now. Check the key signatures. It's empty. There's no sharps or flats. So we're either in the key of C major or A minor, because those are the keys with no sharps or flats. And so I got to look deeper. Which is it? I find the end. That's what usually helps with me. If I can figure out where the end is, I see at the bottom of page 19 there's a coda, and I'm on A's, so I'm probably in A minor. Generally, a piece will end on its one chord. It doesn't have to, but generally it will. And those notes in that coda, that last line, they're all in the A minor chord. They're all in an A minor chord. They're rearranged. Doesn't matter. It's the note names we're after. And so I figure we're in A minor. If you're doing scales and arpeggios, in my opinion, you should be doing a scale for C major and A minor and the arpeggio for C major and A minor. And how much you do, how many octaves, it depends on how well you can do the scale. I have videos and I explain it in the videos. Okay. And then 4/4 time signature. Now, both hands are kind of busy, so I'm going to review each hand one at a time first. I want to make sure I got a fingering that works and I understand the rhythms. Right hand in the first measure, you see it plays the last 2 notes. The RH stands for right hand. You're down here. Okay. The upper staff in that measure is empty, which technically is not real good. But what they've done is they've taken the notes in both staffs and put them together. So to get the correct rhythm, you have to consider both staffs together as one staff. And then in the next staff, they've split them apart. Each one is separate. Each staff has 4 counts in it. That's why I don't care for this going back and forth. I would prefer, I think, of seeing a whole rest in that upper staff, just so it can have 4 counts in it. It's just my opinion. But it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then as you come up here, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And all those notes are tied. You're going to hold them down. 1 and 2, 4, and then you come down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here. Kind of what we're doing here. Okay. Measure 7. This is where I'm saying this fingering 1, 3, 5. I said it earlier, way long time ago. This fingering is fine if you're just doing chords. But when you get it in the music, you may not use that fingering. It depends on the music and what it needs, what came before and what came after. Well, here, this doesn't work so well because of this. So I had in measure 6 here. What I'm going to do is basically stay here and just lower the thumb down. I'm going to go here. 1, 2, 4. This way I'm ready for that here. I'm not moving around. I would prefer not to. There are different fingering styles, different ways of fingering things. There's not necessarily a right and wrong, although there are some poor fingerings. But one of the principles of the style that I teach and learned in college was I don't move my hand if I don't have to. And so in measure 7, I can get all of that from measure 6 and measure 7, and measure 8. I can get all of that in one hand position. All I have to do is just move the thumb. And that's what I recommend you do. Your teacher may not like that. They want you to move. That's fine. Do what they tell you to do as long as they're your teacher. Another teacher might tell you different. And then we got some more of the same kind of stuff. Measure 15, same fingering. Now they're telling you here. I'm just kind of in this position. On measure 17, we're down here. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And in measure 19, if you don't fit here, some people got fat fingers and big hands, then do that. Second finger. I don't know how big your hands are, but you adjust it when you need to make it work. That last line down there, I'll talk about that when I put the hands together, because it's one hand in the other and one hand in the other. Left hand, we're starting out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you come up. 1 and. And they're tied for the rest of the measure, both of them. 1 and 2 and 3. Just lift up and move. Just lift up and move. There's no rest, just let go. So, bottom of the page, it's a measure 16. We're here. Last note, 3 ledger lines below the bass is A and A. You need to memorize at least C. 2 ledger lines is a C. Below bass or above treble, 2 ledger lines is a C. C is sort of symmetrical. That's why middle C is called middle C. It's in the middle of a grand staff. Okay. And that's the 1 more ledger line. It's an A. In my opinion, you ought to memorize that too. Here. Just going to have to lift up and move. I don't like that fingering very much, but we'll do what we can. The pedal will help us a little bit when we come up here. Measure 17. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you can read these notes okay. If you can't, we have a problem. In measure 22, measure 23 is the thumb again. And the reason for that is we're preparing for the next measure. Here, you reach down. Because if I did that, I'm out of position for that. So we're always looking ahead to what position do I need to be in. Sometimes I have to prepare for what's coming, and that's what that's about. Measure 31, you have 3 ledger lines is an A, and they have a 5-1 under it. Well, that's finger numbers. 5 and then a 1. It's a finger substitution. You play with the first number, 5, and then while you're holding it down, you put the other number on it, a 1. And again, this prepares you for what's coming. Because in the next measure, you have the same A, but it has an 8V8 under it, so you go down an octave. If you have an electronic keyboard and it's a short keyboard, you just do the lowest A you have. It's close enough. Otherwise, it's the first note on an 88-key piano. So that's the left hand. So when I get an idea of the hands are doing, I'll attempt to put them together. And when I do, I probably hesitate all over. I don't care. I'm just trying to figure out which fingers are working and how it works. So it's here. And as I'm playing this, I'm getting the left hand up here. I'm hovering over it, ready to go. And then 1 and. So by the time I'm done, I got them all down. And I lift up, and as I get the left hand, and as I'm playing the left hand, I move the right hand. Hover. Measure 17, it's here. And by the way, when I first do this, I connect all the notes if I can. I just lift up for the rest. I'll do the articulation later. I kind of build this one step at a time. So the coda, well, rhythm, they're all quarter notes, but it's one hand, and then the other, and then the left hand, and then the second measure of the coda, they don't need a left and right or anything because the left hand's going to play the bottom staff. And the left hand, same notes. And the left hand plays the A here and the A here. I don't care for that. I don't want to have to read. I mean, it's showy. If you want to be showy, by all means, let the left hand go through the extremes. But in my opinion, we don't need to. And this one, rather than here, I'm going to change that to here, either a 2 or a 3, so I can play that note with the right hand. So I don't have to reach. I got a big belly, I don't want to reach. And then the left hand can do the last one. So the last 2 measures would be there. Yeah, it's a safer one anyway, but that's how I would do it. Fingerings in these books in most cases are suggestions. Any fingering I give you is a suggestion. If you have a teacher, the fingering they give you, you do it, as long as you study under them. But understand a different teacher may give you a different fingering. So I would do that. Now once I have an idea what the hands and fingerings are and the rhythms and how the hands are working together, then I'll go back over it just a little bit at a time. It might be a measure or two, it might be a line, it might be a section, it depends on the music. And I'll work out the hesitations. So it's a steady beat. I'll go as slow as I have to, I don't care, but it's got to be a steady beat throughout. No hesitations. Please don't let hesitations stick around because they get to become part of your plan. You'll always hesitate. Get rid of them. It's a fallacy, or it's a hoax. It's untrue if you think I'll fix it later, because once you've practiced that hesitation, it becomes part of it. And even though you think you might have gotten rid of it, it'll come back. Get rid of the hesitations. And once I can do that, then I add the articulation, the staccatos, accents, slurs, and all that stuff. Here they're slurring it. Connect these. I'm in the first measure here. I'm starting the second measure here. I'm connecting those. Here. Then lift up. Connect all these. All the way. Measure 7 is staccato. I'm flexing at the wrist here, and I'm on the key and I'm bouncing off. This is short. And I missed it before in the left hand on that measure. You can if you'd like, because you got that. You can use second finger on the B, and I'm in this position. I generally will finger it that way. When it's back and forth, yeah, even one time I'll still do it. If I can, it depends on the music. In this case, you can do that, so I can do that. And then do it again. Measure 17. I'm going to connect this left hand, but the right hand is staccato. Now measure 24, look out. That last quarter note is by itself. That's fine because I got to get the left hand up here. And then the coda is all connected. Except the last measure. You have a rest here, and then accent staccato for just a little louder. This is a problem we have to watch out for on piano. As you go down the keyboard, they will get louder all by themselves. As you go up, they can get softer depending on the piano. So when you do a sforzando on a note down here, it's really more like just an accent because it will come out. So really all you need there on this accent, just play it just a little louder and it will come out. Now once I have an idea of the articulation, then I add the dynamics. F at the beginning is forte, loud, with both hands because there's no melody. The whole thing, I'm just using a lot of weight. I use weight when I play. The more weight, the heavier the louder it is. Another way is to push the keys down quicker. The faster the key goes down, the louder it is. I like the weight method. Use either one, whatever. And then when I get to measure 17, MF, mezzo forte, sort of loud, moderate, that's the melody here. These, they give you an MP. I'd cross that out. You don't need it. It's a little unrealistic. Most music won't give you. You get one dynamic that appears in the middle of the staff, and it applies to the melody wherever the melody is. How much softer? Well, listen to it. We want to hear the melody. Measure 21 and so forth. You get the hairpins to get louder enough. Not loud enough. Do it again. Okay. Measure 29, you get a diminuendo. Now, remember in music, when they put hairpins and they put the dynamics in, they don't always put them exactly where they go. You have to let the music tell you what's going on here. So measure 29, they want you to start diminuendoing until you get to the end of the line where you're very soft, pianissimo. So you plan it out. So you don't start changing immediately where the sign is, you change after it. So measure 29, in my opinion, is still moderately loud. And now you come down a little softer. softer. And this is soft. How soft can you play it? Don't use the soft pedal, that's cheating. Learn to do this, just gentle stroke with the hand. Yeah. When you're practicing the scales, how soft can you play a scale? Just real slowly. Just not real fast, just how soft can you get this scale to play without using the soft pedal? If you get practicing the scales, you're practicing the scales anyway, right? So you can do this other stuff, and then when you get in music, you're already able to do it. And in practicing this other stuff with the scales, lets you, or gives you an excuse to, practice the scales a little more. Now, once I have the dynamics out of the way, I'll think about the speed. With spirit, oh, well, good luck with that. A lot of times in music, rather than telling you how fast to go, they'll give you the mood of the piece, and from there, you get to figure it out. Well, it's like most everything else in music, you're going to feel it. And it'll be different for different people, because different people feel differently. With spirit, it depends on how much coffee I've had, or wine, or whatever I'm drinking that day, or what time of day it is. So it's not a set speed. I can't say do it at this metronome marking, although a lot of teachers would. They'll give you a metronome, you do it at that speed. Yeah. Do it as you feel it, but feel it with spirit. I'm not going to go... Not much spirit in that one. And I'm not going to go. That's a little, yeah. I want somewhere in there that lets me feel this as a spirit. Maybe that's too fast. It depends on how you feel. And it looks like it's the same speed throughout, so you got to check. Where's the hardest part? Probably here at the beginning. But does that speed work okay with the melody on the next page? Because they're half notes. They're going to last longer. They're going to want to speed it up a little bit. But the quarter notes are going to want to slow it down a little bit. So overall, it's got to be with spirit. And then finally, I'll add the pedal, because they're suggesting pedal. I always learn a piece without pedal first. I want to make sure that fingers are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then when I add pedal, I can hear the difference in the sound. Do I like it? Do I not like it? In most pieces, the pedaling indicated is a suggestion. It's how some editor, in some cases the composer, felt that it should be. But we have to be careful, even because Beethoven would put in a lot of pedal mark. He did a lot of pedaling. But his piano was a lot different than our pianos. His piano couldn't sustain notes like ours do. So I'm wondering if he would really pedal as much on our pianos as he did his. The point is, even though the composer may put it in, you still have to consider the music. Is that really the way it is, the way you want it? In many cases, it's an editor's done it. It's their opinion of how it should be interpreted. The articulation, the dynamics, the pedaling, all that stuff, it's all part of interpreting the music, and everybody has different ideas. So we'll do it the way that it's shown first and see how that is. If we don't like it, we'll change it. Now again, if you're pedaling, there's reasons for pedaling. Don't just pedal. You don't just pedal because the music said to. You explore it. Does it make sense? Does it sound good? Do you like that? Why is it pedaling? If you really can't justify using the pedal, leave it up. Now I'm going to use like pedal. So the notes go down first and then the pedal. And when I change the pedal, like in between second and third measure, it'll be after I play the note. So the pedal overlaps. So it's a syncopated. So it's overlap pedal. So here at the beginning, note first, then pedal. And when I change the pedal, it'll be right after I play the note. That's basically the way it is all the way through. Now when I get to measure 7, the staccato, I have to lift the pedal up so I get a staccato. So starting at measure 6, now at the bottom of the page 18, it's what, measure 16? We're here. Put the pedal down and and then release the pedal. The pedal's going to keep the sound going, so I can move my left hand up. But right after I play it, I'm going to lift up. So again, after the DC, and you go back down to the bottom of page 18, now you're going to go to the coda. So here, now going to the coda, we're going to go ahead and change it. And the reason we're changing it here isn't because of the harmony. The harmony isn't changing, it's the same chord. But what we want to do is we want to be sort of soft for the coda. And measure 16 is loud, supposed to be. And go to the coda, it's sort of soft. So I have to change the pedal to get rid of all that loud sound. That's okay. And I'm going to overlap that pedal there. Now the last measure here, you lift the pedal up with the staccato here as you play it. Not after you play it, as you play it. So the pedaling marked in here is pretty good. So we can go along with that. Don't agree, there may be an error in the music or whatever, not sure, but the coda, you're starting the coda out moderately soft, and at the end you're very loud. Why? It's just all of a sudden loud? There's no crescendo or nothing. You don't gradually get louder. As you go up, you're just staying soft. And all of a sudden, yeah, really? That's what's written. In my opinion, you really kind of need some sort of a crescendo, at least in the last measure or two, to help you get a little louder. That's interpretation. Now remember DCL coda, or DCL coda. You'll see it next to the last line on page 19, DCL coda. DC means go back to the beginning. Al coda means go to coda. The coda sign is at the bottom of page 18. It's the circle with the cross. They have a 2 coda. They don't need that really. The sign is what you need. And then the coda is the last line on page 19. They even have it labeled coda. A lot of music won't label it. You just get the circle with the crosshairs. You connect the circles. And the beat has to be a steady beat, so be prepared to go wherever. Let's play this together and check the notes and the rhythms. Now on these play with me's, the only reason I do it is because if you don't have a teacher, how do you know if you play a wrong note or the rhythm's wrong? So we do the play with me so you can, are you playing the same note I'm playing it when I play it? If you have a teacher, you probably don't need to play with me because your teacher will tell you if you get something wrong, I hope. That's their job, they're supposed to. So you do the play with me if you want to, otherwise you can leave it out. I don't care, I can't hear it, doesn't matter to me. I'm going to give us 4 counts. I'm not doing louds and softs, we're not performing it, we're just checking notes and rhythms. Now I think I'm going to leave the pedal out. Because you hear the notes better without it, and that's what we want. You need to hear the notes. So I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. 4 and 3, 2, 3, 4. And 4 and. And 4 and. And 4 and. 3, 2, 3, 4. To the beginning. And 4 and. And 4 and. And 4 and. 3, 2, 3, 4. And 4 and. And 4 and. And 4 and. 3, 2, 3 to the coda. Rest, rest.